Most men panic when she goes no contact too. The few who don't, they win her respect forever. Welcome to Brainify On. Here we talk raw psychology, real attraction, and the discipline that keeps your frame solid. If you're new, subscribe, tap the bell, and let's get honest. If she's also doing no contact, don't panic. Listen carefully because this is where your next move either raises your value or buries it. 1. Read the silence. Don't fear it. When a woman goes silent, most men lose their heads. They start to think silence means rejection, that no contact equals the end. But silence isn't always absence. Silence is a language. It's not blank space, it's words written in invisible ink. If you know how to read it, it tells you everything you need to know. The problem is, most men don't know how. They panic. They fill the quiet with desperate messages, voice notes, likes, comments, anything just to feel her presence again. That's exactly where they fall apart. Here's the truth. She's also doing no contact. Don't see it as a curse. See it as a mirror. She's reflecting your move. And now the test isn't about her. It's about you. Do you crumble when she's not feeding your ego? Do you break when she stops pouring attention into your cup? Or do you hold steady? That's the moment silence separates weak from strong. A story. A man once told me he lasted 3 days in no contact before he cracked. He texted her, "I miss you so much. I can't take this anymore." Her reply, cold, short, indifferent. Why? Because in those 3 days, she wasn't just waiting. She was watching. She wanted to see how long he could last without collapsing. The moment he gave in, he confirmed what she suspected. His strength was fake. It only existed when she was giving him attention. That's not strength. That's dependency in disguise. You need to reframe silence. It's not emptiness, it's power. Silence is pressure. Yes, but pressure is what makes a diamond. When you don't fill the silence with weakness, you send a louder message than any word could. I'm not desperate. I'm not chasing. My life is still moving. That energy plants seeds of curiosity in her mind. Why hasn't he texted? Is he really okay without me? Has he moved on? And here's the twist. Curiosity creates attraction. Women can't resist a mystery. If you break silence too early, you steal that mystery away. You rob her of the space to miss you, to think about you, to replay moments in her head. But if you hold the line, if you respect the silence, you let her do the chasing in her own mind. That's how the balance shifts. So remember this, silence is not the enemy, panic is. Silence is not the problem, weakness is. The one who can sit with silence the longest wins. And if she's also doing no contact, the game isn't who texts first, it's who collapses first. Don't be that guy. Read the silence, respect it, and let it work for you instead of against you. 2. Make it about you, not her. Here's the trap most men fall into when a woman goes silent. They make it all about her. Every waking thought becomes a replay of her last words, her last smile, her last message. They sit with their phones in their hands like hostages waiting for a sign of life. That's not strength, that's self-destruction. And if she's also doing no contact, you'll sink even deeper into obsession if you don't redirect your focus. Think about it. If every time she pulls away, your world shrinks down to her absence, what message are you sending? You're telling her without words that she's your oxygen, that without her you can't breathe. And let me be blunt, no woman respects that. A woman may tolerate it for a short while, but eventually she loses interest because deep down she knows a man who collapses without her is not a man she can lean on. This is where you flip the script. Stop asking what if, what is she doing? Start asking what am I building? Instead of scrolling her socials and decoding captions like a detective, use that same energy to sharpen yourself. Hit the gym not because you want her to notice you later, but because your body deserves strength. Pick up a book not because you want to look wise on Instagram, but because your mind deserves food. Work harder at your craft, not to impress her, but to prove to yourself you're not wasting time. Here's a story. A friend of mine was crushed when his girl mirrored his silence. He almost broke no contact 5 times in 1 week, but instead he chose to make it about himself. He joined a boxing gym. He poured his frustration into training. Within 2 months, his body transformed. By the time she reached out, she found a man who had leveled up, not a man who had broken down, and suddenly she was chasing him. Why? Because he proved he could thrive without her. That's the lesson. Silence isn't a pause, it's an opening. While she's quiet, you build. While she's testing, you're training. While she's waiting, you're working. Then one day, if she peeks back into your life, she won't find the same man she left. She'll find someone sharper, calmer, stronger. That shift is magnetic. Remember this, obsession drains you, but self-improvement feeds you. When you make it about her, you're handing her the keys to your emotions. When you make it about you, you take the keys back. And here's the irony. The less you chase her, the more she wonders about you. The less you obsess, the more she obsesses. So when she goes no contact, let her. Don't chase shadows. Don't waste hours staring at your phone. Make the silence your fuel. Redirect every drop of energy you once poured into her and pour it into yourself. That's how you flip the script. That's how you keep your power. 3. Detachment, not caring. Most men hear the word detachment and instantly think it means shutting down all feelings, acting cold, or pretending they don't care. That's not detachment. That's numbness. And numbness doesn't create attraction. It kills it. Real detachment is completely different. It's the ability to want someone but not need them. To love someone, yet not let that love destroy your balance. Picture 2 men. The first one is deeply attached. Every time she delays a reply, he spirals. His whole mood depends on whether she notices him. When she pulls back, he collapses. That's not love. That's addiction. Now the second man, he cares. He values her, but he doesn't orbit her like she's his son. If she's present, he's steady. If she's distant, he's still steady. That's detachment, and that's what makes him magnetic. Women feel energy more than words. If you're secretly desperate, she senses it. You can say, I'm fine, but if you're checking your phone every 2 minutes, your actions betray you. Detachment, on the other hand, radiates calm. It tells her, I like you, but I don't depend on you. That balance creates curiosity. It makes her wonder why you're not crumbling like other men. Here's the catch. Detachment can't be faked. You can't pretend to be detached while still obsessing. She'll feel the act. True detachment comes from building a life that's full with or without her. It's when your purpose, your growth, your peace, and your mission carry more weight than her silence. That's when your energy shifts. That's when she feels the pull. Story time. A man I coached kept posting fake happy pictures after his breakup. He thought pretending to have moved on would win her back. It didn't. She saw through it. Why? Because his energy was still desperate. Later, he stopped faking and started truly building fitness, work, new hobbies. Slowly, his life became bigger than her. When she saw him months later, she felt the difference. He wasn't acting detached. He was detached. And that's when she chased him again. Detachment is not indifference. It's choosing to keep your frame no matter what. It's saying, I care, but I won't beg. I love, but I won't collapse. I want you, but I don't need you. That balance makes you stand out because most men are either too clingy or too cold. You become the rare middle, warm but grounded. So if she's also doing no contact, don't panic. Don't rush to prove you care more. Show detachment. Care without begging. Value her without chasing. Let her silence exist without losing yourself. That's not weakness. That's power. And in her eyes, that power is irresistible. 4. Patience is your filter. Patience is one of the hardest qualities for a man to practice, especially when silence enters the picture. Most men can stay strong for a day or 2, maybe a week, but then their ego starts screaming, text her now. Don't let her forget you. That's not patience. That's anxiety wearing a mask. Real patience is different. Real patience is calm. When she's also silent, the game changes. This is where you're tested. She wants to see if you break under pressure, because pressure reveals character. Any man can look confident when she's showering him with attention. But when she withdraws, when she stops feeding your ego, can you hold your ground? That's the filter, and only a rare few pass it. Patience isn't sitting there counting days like a prisoner, waiting for release. That's obsession. Patience is living as though nothing's wrong. Training, working, laughing, growing, being so engaged in your own life that the silence doesn't torture you. That's true discipline. And women respect that because it shows them you're not a slave to their moods. Here's the truth. Patience communicates abundance. A man who can wait without breaking is silently saying, I have other priorities. I'm not desperate. I'm not rushing. I'm valuable enough to let time work for me. That message is powerful because it's rare. Most men blow up her phone within days. The man who stays calm for weeks, he stands out. Let me give you an example. A guy once told me he lasted 2 months without breaking no contact. During that time, he didn't sit around sulking. He focused on his business. He learned new skills. By the end, he wasn't even waiting anymore. He was thriving. When she finally reached out, she found a man who had grown, not one who had shrunk. That patience turned him from ordinary to unforgettable. But patience isn't just about her. It's about you. It forces you to confront yourself without the distraction of constant texts. You meet your fears, your insecurities, your doubts. If you can face those and not run, you rise, you grow. You build a level of self-control most men never touch. That's the hidden gift of patience. It makes you stronger than before. So when she matches your silence, don't treat it like punishment. Treat it like training. Every day you stay calm. You're building muscle, emotional muscle, and that muscle will serve you not only in this relationship, but in every part of life. Women respect men who don't fold under pressure. If you can pass this test, you don't just win her respect, you win your own. 5. Redirect the energy to your mission. Energy doesn't disappear, it moves. And when you waste it on overthinking her, stalking her socials, or crafting unsent texts, you're bleeding energy into a black hole. That same energy could be the fuel that builds your future, if you just redirect it. Here's the brutal truth. She respects men who move, not men who wait. If she's doing no contact too, you have two choices: sink into weakness or rise into purpose. Weakness looks like sleepless nights, endless drafts, late night scrolling. Purpose looks like waking up early, training hard, working smart, and stacking progress. Ask yourself, what's the one thing you've been delaying? The business idea, the course, the body, the habit, this silence. It's your chance. While she's quiet, you build that way. No matter what happens, you win. If she comes back, she finds a man who has leveled up. If she doesn't, you still leveled up. That's the secret. You can't lose if you use silence correctly. Here's a story. One man I know redirected all his energy after his breakup into building his career. Instead of drowning in doubt, he doubled down on his goals. Within 6 months, he got promoted, started a new side hustle, and improved his health. When his ex finally reached out, she was shocked. She expected to find him broken. Instead, she found him better, and suddenly, she wanted back in. Why? Because growth is magnetic. Redirection also protects you. When you're focused on her, every move she makes stabs you. When you're focused on your mission, her silence becomes background noise. That's the shield. Your purpose keeps you stable when emotions try to drown you, and that stability makes you different from the crowd of desperate men. But here's the key. You can't fake it. Posting gym selfies for her attention isn't growth. Pretending to be busy while secretly obsessing isn't purpose. Real growth is silent. It's in the sweat, the books, the late nights of work. It's the kind of progress that speaks louder than any caption. So use this silence wisely. Every time you feel the urge to text her, redirect. Write down one action for yourself and do it immediately. Lift, run, read, create, learn, build. Soon you'll realize the silence was never against you. It was for you. It gave you space to redirect. And in the end, that's what separates the men who crumble from the men who conquer. 6. If she matches your silence, let it be. This is the part most men can't stomach. Sometimes when you go silent, she doesn't break, she doesn't chase, she sits in silence too, and that silence cuts deep. It makes you want to fix it, force it, break it, but that's where men lose. Let me be clear. If she refuses to meet you halfway, accept it. That's not weakness, it's dignity. Chasing her when she's matching your silence teaches her she never has to try. It makes her take you for granted. And a woman who doesn't respect you will never love you. This is where you practice the hardest discipline, letting it be. Not as a trick, not as a game, but as a principle. Because if she truly values you, she will not stay silent forever. She might test, she might wait, but eventually she will reach out. If she doesn't, then her silence is clarity. It means she was never ready to invest equally. Painful, yes, but freeing, too. Here's a perspective shift. Instead of seeing silence as rejection, see it as a filter. It filters out the women who aren't serious. It clears space for the one who will step forward without hesitation. Because love that has to be begged for isn't love. It's self-betrayal. One guy I knew begged his girl during no contact. He texted, called, showed up at her place. She came back, but not with respect. She came back with power. The relationship died because she never felt she had to invest. Compare that with another man who let silence stand. His girl eventually broke her pride and came back because she realized his strength. The difference wasn't luck, it was principle. So if she matches your silence, let it be. Don't force outcomes. Don't chase. Don't bleed self-respect to keep someone who won't meet you. Walk forward with calm dignity. That move, ironically, is what often pulls her back. But even if it doesn't, you win because you chose yourself. 7. The brutal truth. Here's the raw truth most men don't want to hear. Sometimes silence doesn't bring her back. Sometimes she doesn't break. Sometimes she moves on. And in that moment, you'll feel the dagger of doubt. Was I too patient? Did I lose her forever? That's where men collapse. But listen carefully. This is where you grow. Silence is not punishment. It's a teacher. It teaches you about your impulses, your insecurities, your patience. It shows you where you're weak. And if you pass this test, it makes you unshakable. Because the real battle was never with her. It was always with yourself. The brutal truth is this. You cannot control her choices. You cannot force her to value you. What you can control is your reaction. You can either let silence break you or let it build you. If you beg, you lose both her respect and your own. If you hold steady, you keep your frame, and that frame attracts whether it's her or someone better. Think about it. The strongest men are not the ones who always get the girl. They're the ones who never beg for validation. They're the ones who know their worth, even when someone else refuses to see it. That's rare. That's magnetic. So here's the brutal truth. Silence reveals everything. If she respects you, she'll return. If she doesn't, she won't. Either way, your job is not to collapse. Your job is to stay grounded, keep building, and trust that real respect never needs begging. At the end of the day, silence is not the enemy. It's the filter that separates weak men from strong. And if she's also doing no contact, understand this. It's not about who texts first. It's about who stands firm longest. And the man who holds his frame wins always. So here's the decision you face right now. If she's also doing no contact, you either let silence destroy you or you let it build you into the man you were meant to be. Don't chase, don't beg, don't break. Hold your frame. Keep your mission alive and let her see that your strength doesn't depend on her. If this video gave you clarity, drop "I hold my frame" in the comments. I want to see the strong one standing tall. And don't forget, like this video, subscribe to Brainify on, and turn on the bell so you never miss the truth about psychology, relationships, and masculine energy. Share this with a friend who needs to hear it.